On the road with Wax, listening to Wax's podcast, talking mad shit about uninteresting facts. I just can't wait to get on the road with Wax. That wasn't really how that was supposed to go, was it? What was the last thing? Just something but it's Wax's podcast. I don't know exactly how it goes, but you know, it's an old Willie Nelson song, On the Road Again, and I'm feeling the sentiment that Willie Nelson expressed when he wrote that song, because I'm on the road just like he was, and just like he was, I'm on the road again and again and again and again, and I'm reporting to you live from the beautiful, lush mountains of Scranton, Pennsylvania. I'm at some amphitheater, and it is another day out here on the Vans Warped Tour. So, the only thing that really changes is subtle changes in scenery and changes in the people's accents that are here. Besides that, it pretty much looks the same at every venue. Some type of amphitheater. The main stages will usually play in the amphitheater, then they'll have the other stages outside the amphitheater. And I am playing on the Beatport stage, which is a really cool place to play. And I'm living life. I'm really enjoying this Warped Tour. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. I'm having a lot of fun. And just, trying to smell the roses, y'all. I think I might have mentioned on a previous podcast, that's my goal with this tour. I'm not trying to make this some fucking business thing. I'm not trying to really think too hard about, I don't fucking know, networking and shit like that. Whatever people think about when they come on tours like this. I'm just trying to have a good time, y'all. And that's what I've been doing. Had a great time last night. Had an early set yesterday, so I just enjoyed the day. Even though it was raining and shit like that, I just stayed in the bus and kicked it. And I did something else. I went and got a massage the day before that. Me and the homie Kurt B, bass extraordinaire, we went to the fucking shop. It's been a long time since I've been to a shopping mall, with like the whole nine. Ate at the food court, got the free sample of bourbon chicken, enjoyed it so much that I was like, yes, I would like the 2-item combo. Of course I want that. From the classic mall shop, the classic mall food court stand that says Cajun, but it's really Chinese food. That always happens. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. Like, they say Cajun as if they serve jambalaya and shit, but you go up there and they got bourbon chicken, and they got everything else is like sweet and sour pork and shit like that. But, yeah, here, Warped Tour. And you know what part of the tour this is? I'm going to be brutally honest for a little while on this podcast. You know what section of the tour this is right here? This is the sexual frustration leg of the tour. Because, I have no significant other anyway, and if I did, they probably wouldn't be on this tour. And this tour, the people that come to this tour are generally very young, so I don't have any interest in trying to randomly hook up with chicks that come to these shows, because that would make me a pedophile. And I'm not a pedophile. I don't think like that. I'm not the kind of guy, I'm pretty honest with you guys on this podcast. I can tell you right now that, when I masturbate, which, like I've said before, is the time in a man's life where he's the most honest with himself. He's all alone. The things he likes, the things he's into, he's going to look at, especially considering it's all available at your fingertips if you have internet access. And I don't look at, like, little kid stuff and little girls or whatever. I'm not into that. I like chicks that are closer to my age, or at least chicks that are, like, women and not little girls. So, that being said, I'm not going to be some creepazoid and try to hook up with a 15-year-old girl. I would never do some shit like that. So, that pretty much takes out any chance of me having random sexual encounters with Warped Tour goers. Unless maybe some of their parents. I have a better chance of hooking up with one of the kid here's parents than I do with actually one of the kids that's here to attend the festival to see the bands they like and shit like that. I'm going to sidetrack real quick. An interesting genre of human being that's at the Warped Tour is the drunk parent. I actually had a chick come to me at the Seattle show. She was probably like mid-30s, and she was fucking wasted. And she was like, I really love your set. It was so good. What's that DUI song? And I was like, God damn, of course you related to the DUI song. You're probably going to get one as you drive your daughter and her friends home, and hopefully don't fucking wreck. Jesus Christ. She was so fucked up, and she was telling me about how her daughter is embarrassed of her. And I got a kick out of it because She probably was kind of embarrassed. If I was her 14-year-old daughter, I'd probably be a little embarrassed too at how sloppy drunk my mom got at the festival. I just went there to see my favorite bands, and since I'm so young, my mom had to bring me, and she got shit-faced. And then we had to call a cab, and my mom passed out in the cab on the way home, and I had to drag her back into the house in my Asking Alexandria shirt. But anyway, I have a better chance of hooking up with one of those drunk parents, because most of these festivals, it's very sober, compared to a lot of music festivals I've been to, especially the kind that I used to attend when I was younger that were more like hippie type of festivals. This is a very sober event because people are so young and people aren't really doing like drugs. I guess, people are smoking weed occasionally, especially on the West Coast shows where, you don't have to worry about the security guard and whatnot. But it's very sober. But then the parents are always in like the little beer garden area having a couple drinks. And that's a genre of human being that's at the Warped Tour. Parents that are just having a drink and waiting for the fucking day to be over and probably talking amongst each other like, how can kids listen to this guy scream like that? But, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at all. Like what you like, do what you do. I'm trying not to judge people anymore. Like that earlier episode, maybe 20 or 30 episodes ago when I was talking mad shit about the guy that had the plugs in his ears. I'm over that. If you want to put plugs in your ears, go ahead and be my guest. There's people on this Warped Tour that literally have hockey pucks in that motherfucker, like real big plugs. It's not for me, but hey, who am I to judge another human being for what they do? That's an interesting thing too. Another little sidetrack. When you go across America and you do this Warped Tour shit, and there's a bunch of young kids, and they're like rock and roll kids, you know what I mean? And just high school kids, or people in college, whatever, it doesn't matter. But an interesting difference you see as well is the attitude towards marijuana, as far as when you're walking around the Ventura show or the San Diego show, or especially like the Seattle show, people are just smoking joints and rolling blunts like just openly, just right inside the festival, whatever, and you smell weed everywhere. But then you go to a show in like Buffalo, or probably here in Pennsylvania too, and it's like just really hidden, and people are very careful about it and sneaking off, and you don't really see it or smell it the way you did on the West Coast. And I just find that interesting. I think that eventually the country will probably all go the way of marijuana legalization, because that's just the way it goes. There was a time when women couldn't vote. If you look back in the history of the country, things like that move in a liberal direction, and I'm absolutely not mad at that. I think that's how it should be. I think we have already found out in this country when Prohibition happened in the 1930s and the alcohol industry was taken over by goons. I think that's a fucking example. If we could just legalize marijuana, the Mexican cartels that chop off people's kids' feet and shit like that will probably lose some power. Or they'll just invest everything into cocaine and continue to chop little kids' feet off. So that was a sidetrack, but what I wanted to talk about was the sexual frustration leg of the tour. And that's what I mean is it's weeks and weeks and weeks in. You can't really hook up with girls that are at the tour because they're too young. It's really not even wise to hook up with an older girl that's touring with the tour, because then if something goes wrong a month down the line, you're gonna see him walking by the pretzel tent, and it's gonna be an awkward situation for you. So all that being said, you still probably want to. And at this point of the tour, everybody's in buses, everybody's together, everybody showers in like one shower. So hopefully, polite people, they don't jerk off in the shower. Let's just put it out there. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes on this tour are not masturbating as often as they would be at home. So at least that's true for me. And I've developed a little bit of a sexual frustration thing. And you start to look at the women on this tour in a different way. And what I was thinking, since it's such a male-dominated festival, since there's so many more dudes that tour with this thing than chicks, I would say it's probably out of every 10 people that's touring with the Warped Tour, there's one girl. Maybe like 1.5 to 2, but probably more like 1. So dick stock is way down. The stock in dick is plummeting. the stock in pussy is rising, skyrocketing. I wish I would have bought mad shares in pussy before I went on this tour, because the stock is just going way up, 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 up. If you're a chick and you're feeling a little freaky, you're feeling that itch in your little nether region, you could easily find a dude. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's true anywhere, anyway. But on this tour, you could easily find a dude. But if you're a dude, you got a lot of competition, man. You're competing with Mayday Parade. You're competing with the Ready Set. You're competing with Cute Is What We Aim For. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just naming random bands that I saw their names. Although I did check out the set by a band called the Ready Set yesterday, and it was actually pretty damn good. It was like some good like pop rock stuff. It was well done. It was very well done music, and their drummer was fucking bashing. It was tight as shit. So yeah, but my point is, the dick stock is down, pussy stock is way up. So invest in pussy now, and then August 4th, right before the last day of the tour, sell, because that shit will go right back down to where it once was when everybody goes home from this tour. But yeah, as far, I was thinking of another sidetrack. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this band called the Ready Set, but a lot of people have. They have a lot of fans here. They have a lot of female fans, and they do it sounds like if Maroon 5 had a little bit more like a pop punk vibe, like if Maroon 5 and Yellowcard got together and made music, it would sound like the Ready Set. But I just thought it'd be funny if the Ready Set had beef with the band OK Go. I know that's fucking dumb as shit, but I thought that'd be funny, because I am dumb as shit. Here comes some type of all-terrain vehicle. I don't know if you can hear that in the distance. I'm recording this outside. I'm way on the outskirts of the parking lot, because if I was to record this near the festival, it would be so fucking loud, and you would just hear you'd hear me talking in the foreground, in the background here. It's crazy how some of these bands are like. I don't know, man. I don't have the energy, I don't have the angst, and I don't have the levels of anger anymore to listen to music that has that much fucking rage in it. I think as you get older, the music you listen to gets chiller, and I just don't have the anger or the energy to listen to music like that. And I don't think it's I think, whether it's heavy metal or the shit that's really, really popular right now, the electronic dance music shit, I don't think there's that much difference there. Young kids just have a lot of energy, and they just want to fucking wild the fuck out. All they want to do is turn up. That's all any kid wants to do these days, is turn up. They don't care what you say. They don't care what you sound like. They don't care what genre it is. If they can fucking pump their fists and jump up and down, that's what they're going to do, I find that music these days, granted this is I'm making a comparison right now to a genre. Oh, fuck, let me start that over. If you compare the music of the 60s to the music of now, I feel like kids now, they don't give a fuck about messages. They don't give a fuck about political messages of hope and shit like that. The only messages they're really fucking with are messages about relationships and love, and they really like heartbreak and stuff like that. Shit that all humans can relate to. But I feel like nowadays, being raised in this modern American consumer culture, people just want to fucking turn up. People just want to party. Partying is at an all-time high. I don't think it's like the 80s when cocaine and fucking and 80s music was big. It's just Ronald Reagan back all over again. People just want to fucking Wolf of Wall Street out. You know what I mean? And that's I think where we're at right now. People just want to party, and I don't. There's not a lot of bands here. Well, first of all, I can't understand what most of them are saying, because they're speaking like a fucking dragon. But I don't think a lot of them are really fucking with messages, especially the band Attila. Their message is very clear. If you guys are ever bored, you know what? I'm gonna have that segment again today. I'm gonna have my homie Max read Attila lyrics today again. But if you guys are bored, just go Google their lyrics. It's so fucking funny, man. They are just epically not giving a fuck. Epically. They have a T-shirt that says, it's just real big print. I think I mentioned it last week, but I'm going to mention that motherfucker again. It says, I tried praying to God, but I was too busy getting paid. So I guess that's a message. I don't know. But, yeah, so I'm out here. I'm on the road. I can't wait to get back, actually, because I'm feeling mad inspired. Me and my boy Davey, if you don't know Davey used to play keys for me. Davey's a master songwriter and piano player, and me and him have been working together a lot, making music. And when we get back, it looks like we are going to try to split a studio space and just go ham recording music. So a lot of people are mad at me because, just rightfully so. I haven't put out any new fucking music in forever. So I'm going to go apeshit with new music starting in August. And hopefully I'll just, have my album done as soon as possible. And some other stuff too. I'm trying to work on a lot of different projects, man. I have like too many ideas for like projects I want to do. I want to do an acoustic album. I want to do a Wax and EOM album. I want to do a regular album. I want to do a Dale Firebird album. I want to do the Cocaine Casserole project that I mentioned on a previous podcast. Just hard fucking slam you in your face funk shit. I think that would actually go over really well on the Warped Tour if it was done right, to be honest with you. We'll see if I do this again next year. I guess it depends what kind of situation I'm in as far as life and the success of my next album and shit like that. But we'll see. Because like I said, man, I didn't really want to do the Warped Tour. Like when I got an offer to do it, and I was like, man, I don't even know if these people that go, because I was experienced with who goes to the Warped Tour, and I was like, I don't even know if this is really my fan base right here. I don't know if I'll I don't think I'm going to sell any merchandise to these kids. But I was proven wrong, A, because kids are buying mad shit. People come here to buy, man. They just look at this shit like a big shopping mall. They come with, wow. The people that are making the most money on this tour, actually, are the people that get the fucking service fees off the ATM machines here, because the longest line at every venue is the fucking ATM machine. So, yeah, I'm doing well, selling merch. I had to restock. I got some new T-shirts. I got my Frisbees are fucking flying off the shelves. Hey. I actually have a part of my set now where I blatantly advertise the Frisbees. We wrote a little Frisbee jingle, and I throw Frisbees out to the crowd. But yeah, that's it. Yet another Wax merch product that was made. So I've had Frisbees, I've had beer koozies, I've had lighters. Those are all things I'm selling right now. I've done pint glasses. Mad different T-shirts, mad CDs. I did the USB flash drives. I did fucking the red beer pong cups. I did ping pong balls. What else did I do? I've done so much. I've made so much stupid shit with my name on it, and I don't think that's ever gonna stop. But I will say, especially with the Frisbees, I'm trying to make it so if I do, and the lighters too, I got the real big joints, not those little shitty ones that most people get. If I get a product with my name on, I'm trying to make it like the best of that product. Like these Frisbees, dude. They're made by Discraft, the worldwide leader in disc sports. Official Ultimate Frisbee NCAA regulation weight and size. And it's not bad. I got them in white. I got them in night glow, glow in the dark, y'all. I haven't actually tested the glow in the darkness of them yet. I haven't thrown a Frisbee in the dark yet, but we'll see. Try to make that happen. What else is going on, y'all? No, not really any funny stories to talk. Oh, damn. This fucking parking attendant. I'm at the end of a parking lot that I guess the other parking lots are now full, and now they're starting to fill this one up, so it might get a little loud here, but there's a parking attendant yelling at this guy in an orange Mustang. It's just a long line of cars in this orange Mustang. I guess he just decided, hey, I got an orange Mustang. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And he just left the line and tried to go park himself, and this fool in this parking attendant in the bright green vest is pretty irritated, He's probably half irritated at the orange Mustang and half irritated at his life in general, being the parking attendant. And that's not a judgment. That's not a dig. I just know how it feels to be at a job where you don't want to be there, man. I just know that feeling so well. There's that feeling where you just question, what am I doing? Can I do something better than this? And then you have to make a decision. Do you attempt to, or do you just let your life slip by? If you're me, you make some attempts. You know what I'm saying? I failed for a long time, and now look at me. I'm out here, dog. I'm out here on the Warped Tour. And like I said, I actually would do it again. I would definitely do the Warped Tour again. And the dude the dude who runs the Warped Tour, like the main head honcho, his name is Kevin Lyman. He came up to me the other day. He's like, yo, I caught your set. He didn't say yo, but he was like, I caught your set the other day. It was great. So a lot of people that do this, they just kind of do it every year. So I think that I could do that if I wanted to. I think I have the option to do the Warped Tour next year if I wanted to. I'll see where I'm at career-wise and make the decision then. But if I just make like an album full of hits and it just becomes fucking my Thriller, you know what I'm saying? I might have to tell them no. I'll be like, yo, or just be like, yo, do you have a helicopter for me? Does the helicopter have a hot tub on it? Does that hot tub have various naked women serving gazpacho to me? If not, I'm gonna have to do the stadium tour with Bruno Mars. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens. I would do this shit again. I'm trying to get acoustic sets every time too, y'all. If you haven't gone, if you might be going to check this out, make sure you check. Whatever, dude. Yeah, when you get here, I'll let. They'll be like. I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is if you come to the Warped Tour, check out my acoustic setup if I happen to be doing one that day because it's pretty fun. What else is going on? What else is going on in the world? I have no idea because I haven't been paying attention to world events at all. I do know that Brazil got their asses handed to them by Germany yesterday in the World Cup soccer match out there on the fucking, what do they call it? On the pitch. But I don't really give a fuck about that either. I was rooting for Germany, so I'm happy. To anybody listening from Germany, I got to give back. I got so much love from everybody over there with my song and the way that I was treated when every time I go over there. So it's so well, and I got to root for the old Deutschland in the World Cup. So go Germany. I hope you guys win. You fucking killed the fuck out of Brazil the other day, so it looked like you have a very good fighting chance. Yeah. Let me stop this for a little bit, and maybe we'll get into. Let me see if I can get into Max Miller Lauren reading Attila lyrics, and then I'm going to get into some comments, questions, and shout-outs. All right, I am back, and I have the one, the only, Max Miller Lauren.
Yeah.
It took a while. To get him off his computer. He was doing things. He didn't really, not really excited to read Attila lyrics today, Max. No.
I'm just. Have to be in a special place, but I think I'm there right now. So.
Well, I found a song for you. I thought that this song really represented what Attila was all about, and this song is called Middle Fingers Up. Is that big enough font for you to read it?
Yeah,
Are you ready? Do you need a beverage, or do you need like a...
I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to go.
All right.
Let
me make sure this is give it a check.
Check. Hello.
I'm going to turn up this recording level a tiny bit, just to make sure that everybody understands the beauty and really gets the nuances, you know what I'm saying?
Of course. All right. There we go. All right, motherfucker, listen up. This is for the fucking homies, steady giving no fucks. If you want to join the party, put your middle fingers up. And when the music fucking hits you, better jump. Ignorance is this. You don't fuck with pussy haters. Put your money where your mouth is, or you can suck my dick, you fucking traitor. This is my shit. We're on the top of the world. And if you want to, you can join us as the journey unfolds. Get up. Let the music consume your soul and say, fuck it. When you're fucking here, nothing fucking matters. Give no fucks. That's the motto. We are only here to take over this whole planet. Fuck the world. Rape this earth of every single thing it's got. If you really want it, you should. Take it all. Grab hold of everything that you want and tell the haters, suck my fucking cock. Hell yeah. Listen up. You can do anything you want in life. Just don't be a fucking bitch. Put your middle fingers up. Break it down. This isn't the time to let anyone hold you back. Fuck the world. And let your actions do the talking for you. Eliminate the bullshit from your life. You've got to let ignorance be on your side.
Oh, wow. That was the end. Gotta let ignorance be on your side. I mean, that's some real shit right there.
Some poetry for sure.
That sounded like a very odd, like, motivational speech. You know, like just like rape the world for everything it has. It's really just about taking what you want.
I mean, there's some elements of conservative philosophy in there. Really, it's like use what's around you for your own benefit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, empower yourself based on raping everything around you.
It's definitely definitely not an environmentalist.
No.
The guy Chris Franzak would not be considered. No, he's probably not down with Greenpeace. You know what I'm saying?
No.
He's probably not a vegetarian. I'm guessing that he's not a vegetarian. We did an update though. Me and Max and Kurt, we had kind of we met him. We met Chris, the singer from Attila, and he seemed like a decent dude.
Yeah.
I still can't tell if he's a robot or not.
I was very confused because there was a lot of dissonance in my mind between the way he acted towards us and the music that he writes, because it didn't seem to like work together. But who knows? We got to party with him.
We still haven't partied with him. We still haven't been on their bus. I think when we go on their bus and we see the Shark Tanks and we see, you know, the cocaine lined everything, I think that we'll finally realize what they're all about.
Absolutely.
But until then, all we can do is read their lyrics. Well, thank you very much, Max. That was another installment of Max Miller-Lauren Reads Attila lyrics. All right, before I get into questions and shout-outs and all that good stuff, I am going to play a song that was sent to me by the homie Robert C. from Good At Studios, and he actually wrote a song that was about me. We're going to play it right now.
We're in the studio. I like when rappers say that.
You know,
it makes the experience feel more real.
Seems like there's a lot of bad things.
We in the podcast studio.
We're gonna get back to our.
I'm not a rapper, but when I rap, it feels like I'm playing double dutch because I never know when to jump in. Boom shakalaka, bringing that shit back like Banaka. Here we go. Play these beats at random, lay them down through my thoughts in tandem, and I never hear them, I just feel them like a blind deaf dude that is wailing out, screaming to the fucking lyrics, bitch, I'm brailing out, get that bread off the table, man, it's staling out, checkmate, motherfuckers, ain't no staling out, but what up, wax, though, before your podcast, man, I thought you were an asshole, and then you got that cash flow, I felt like the dude that was wailing out, Def Jam, big wax, and he's bailing out, falling back on the weeklies, but doing it so weekly, general consensus, it wasn't speakeasies, but now you speak easy, and now wax, believe me, Before your podcast, man, I thought you were an asshole, and then you got that cash flow, I felt like the dude that was wailing out, Def Jam, big wax, and he's bailing out, falling back on the weeklies, but doing it so weekly, general consensus, it wasn't speakeasies, but now you speak easy, wax, the sober man, sitting in with Snoop Dogg like a Doberman, the flow is colder, man, control B's with the lyrics, you got bolder, man, Mega Man, NES, the game is over, man, the dude is sober, man, sitting in with Snoop Dogg like a Doberman. Yo, Rubberto. What up, Robert? Hey, why you talking to yourself, first off? Because I'm in with that big shit. Big shit. You think that shit's gonna get waxed in your podcast? Those lyrics were dope, fuck off, you helped me write them. You were feeling it, the dude's like 2 weeks ago. Better things to do. Remember, we missed that exit on the freeway because we were freestyling. Stick to podcasting. Fuck off. Why don't you go fuck myself? Or baking cakes. Boom goes a dynamite, huh? Or drinking coffee. Yeah, that's what I thought. Step off, sucker. I'll drink my coffee. Iced, bitch. We in Arizona. Hey, Wax, fuck him, man. If you want to come through, you know, just hit us up and we won't invite that other dude who thinks he could rap. Fuck. That's me.
All right, I'm back. I recorded that segment of the podcast this morning and didn't have time to finish it, so I went and did my set. Crushed it. Actually, it was a good set here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And Had a did a 30-minute set, so my voice might be a little bit shot. Signed some stuff for some fans. Met a lot of cool people, including a few podcast listeners. So shout out to anybody that's been coming to the show that listens to the podcast as well. I really appreciate it. So let's get to some questions and shout-outs. Shout-outs this week. Ben K, Farrell M, David M from Toronto, Jericho from London, Jack from Philadelphia, Grant Cornell, TJL, Marco from Canada, Mr. Tasty, BM Craze. What's up, BM Craze? What's going on? Roland R, Ryan N, Dree the Boss, Jen L, Diamond Beats, Trevor R, Nate C from Michigan, and Teddy L, a.k.a. Don Draper. Also, shout out to Robert C with the song. Appreciate that. Check out the Good at Studios podcast. They're trying to do it real big right now. Let's go with this email from B. Willis. And the B stands for BB Bobo. Making a reference to an old story I told in the podcast about BB Bobo, who was the dude in my high school who made fun of me and my boy Frazier for beatboxing and then caught shit for it pretty much in his entire high school career. All right, yo, Big Wax, what up? I got mad beef with you, son. Let me preface my comments first by saying I am a left-brain thinker. I categorize. I am accurate. I am practical. I am a chemist by profession. But I have always wished that I was more creative and entertaining. Realizing that I lack these desired qualities, on occasion I will choose to do the opposite of what seems natural to me. For example, a couple weeks ago I went to an Atlanta Braves game with a couple of friends. While at the stadium, I had to unleash a massive shit. The lines were long and I had to go bad, man. I finally get into a stall and start to line the seat with toilet paper like I always do. Then I remember from podcast 50-something, Wax says he never, all caps, lines the seat. So I don't. And guess what? You give up? I got crabs. Do you have any idea how hard it is to convince your wife you got crabs from a toilet? It's damn near impossible. Damn, dude, that actually would be a rough thing to have happen to get the crabs. And crabs and scabies are STDs that you can actually get without even having sex. So it probably would be a little bit difficult to convince your wife that you didn't get those crabs from some skank that you fucked in the porta potty at the Braves game. Let's continue on. I digress. Do you have any idea how hard it is to convince your wife you got crabs from a toilet? It's damn near impossible. Now, I know you were probably saying that I can't blame you for this unfortunate event, but you got to think if I had just a small barrier between me and the seat, this would never happen. Don't say, you can't get crabs that way, B. Willis, because you can. While at the doctor getting some prescription strength RIDS, I don't know what the fuck that is. He said, although it's not common, it can happen. Anyway, I ain't mad. Congrats on the 100 days, and when are you going to auction off some clothes and stuff? I call dibs on your blue Pennsylvania hoodie. I'm actually wearing that right now. Well, I'm not wearing it, but I am laying on it. I was wearing it in case of rain earlier. But the wifey said she would give it up for days while I was wearing that hoodie. Damn, even after the crabs. Your wife must really love you, B. Willis, because even after the crabs, she's willing to give it up for days just for my Pennsylvania hoodie. As we all know, since the crabs fiasco, I need all the help I can... as we all know, since the crabs fiasco, I need all the help I can get. Be safe out there, B. Willis. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm certainly not an expert in crabs. The only crabs I know a decent amount about are Maryland blue crabs, but I really don't know anything about them other than how to pick them and eat them. If you would have lined the toilet seat with some toilet paper, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that would have definitely not given you crabs. I think that a crab is smart enough to crawl around the paper and still probably get onto your skin. That's really fucked up that you got crabs from a public toilet seat. Like I said, I'll say it again. I'm out here at the Warped Tour. There's fucking mad public bathrooms. There's tons of porta potties that I shit in every morning. And I wipe off the seat very well, with authority, to the point of pure dryness, and I sit my ass directly on the seat. Now, probably because of your email, I will have the unfortunate luck in the near future of getting crabs from a Warped Tour porta potty, but hopefully that doesn't happen. It hasn't happened to me yet, so shit, knock on wood or whatever, and I'm really sorry to hear about that, but I can't take full blame, man. You don't have to do what you don't have to do what I do, you know, but it's a shame that the one time you did, something bad happened to you, so don't ever ask yourself, what would wax do? You know, it's Jesus for a reason, not wax. All right. This is from Tak. What's up, Big Wax? Longtime fan from Chicago. After listening to your, quote, strangest, unquote, podcast episode, I was tempted to email you. You mentioned becoming somewhat of an observer in social situations, and I immediately thought about your old YouTube videos. Do you still freestyle at all? I remember seeing videos of you freestyling at the crib, in your car, after shows with Dumb, etc. I've always thought it. Speaking of Dumb, let me digress real quick. There was a girl in the line. After I do the show, I do a signing at my merchandise tent, and a girl that came up to me in the line had met me and Dumb before at a show we did last year, and she told me, tell Dumb that I'm gonna fuck him one day. Tell him. Make sure you tell him. I was like, all right. So I thought that was funny. Yeah, maybe I had to be there. Anyway, I've always thought of freestyling as letting your thoughts flow as they come. That's definitely true. If you were in a situation where a cipher kicks off, do you think you'd be the same way and just watch? Or would you jump in? Just curious about what your thoughts are on freestyling, and if you think the skill is less relevant now. That's a whole different topic of whether it's quote-unquote relevant. But yes, I absolutely still freestyle. Even on this tour, me, Watsky, EOM, even Kurt, our bass player, occasionally will jump in and freestyle. But especially on nights where we're drinking and such, we will definitely have ciphers. And yeah, I still love freestyling. I'm not as good at it as I once was, probably, because I used to do that shit all the time. I used to constantly freestyle with my friends at parties and in the car and everything. But I guess once you've been doing it for a while, it is a little bit more like, there might be something more to the argument of like, yo, I do this professionally, so I don't have to do it all the time. And instead of freestyling, you kind of take it into the studio and make songs and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, freestyling's still fun, and I still do it damn near every day. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm an amazing freestyler, although the other day I did an acoustic set in the Kia Soul tent here at the Warped Tour, and at the end, the dude Sammy, who runs the tent, like, he's a rapper too, and he says whenever somebody comes through, they freestyle, and we freestyle at the end to an audience, and I fucking clobbered it. I think I in the freestyle rhyme special ed with pencil lead with pretzel bread. So that's pretty sick, son. But as far as the skill being relevant or not, that's an interesting question. Let me talk about that for a little while, because that makes me think about how on YouTube or even on mixtapes, rappers will have a video that will be called blah 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 freestyle. And first of all, usually it's not them who uploaded the video. Like, it'll be like blah 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 freestyles on Hot 97 or something, and then the person will have a verse that's clearly not freestyle, and people will argue in the comments about whether or not it was freestyle, and then some people will get mad because it's not freestyle. But, you know, you got to understand that most people, when they get on the radio, they just want to show their best shit. Because then you get the opposite. When people do go off the top of the dome, people judge that off the top freestyle versus these other freestyles that aren't actual freestyles. So, I don't know. Anybody that raps can pretty much tell when somebody's really going off the dome or not. It's very easy. There's certain signs that make it very easy to tell. But there's a video out there from that dude King Los where he's on Sway in the Morning where he actually freestyles and kills it. There's a video, Kid Cudi, when he's on Tim Westwood, actually freestyles and crushes it. Even though some people might not think he does, but that's one of my favorite freestyles online. But then, you know, there's other people that just, they're on some, they fucking write, you know. And then some people just freestyle, like Snoop just freestyles so smoothly that, you know, if he's on the radio, he should just go off the top of the dome. But, you know, whether the skill is relevant, that's a whole nother thing. I mean, you can't really with a couple exceptions, maybe MC Supernatural, it's not like you're going to make a living off freestyling. Like, freestyling is more like, you know, like a parlor trick. It's more like, you know, it's a skill you can show at your live show or something fun to do with your friends. Whereas, like, making a song is a whole different thing. Making a song can stick with people. And, yeah, I don't know. And so, I don't think if you're some crazy off-the-top freestyler, it's going to necessarily help you as far as a musical career. I guess that's what you mean. I don't know. But that's really up to who's doing it. You know what I mean? It's relevant, I guess, if you're having fun with it. Let's move on. This one is from Tyler Packett. Oops. Fuck it. Tyler P. Because I'm not going to edit that. What up, Wax? I have a couple music-related questions for the podcast. I've been in a band for about a year with my brother and a friend of ours, and we play a blend of rock and hip-hop. I think we have a pretty original sound, and we have fun with what we're doing, but when it comes to performing, I get super nervous because I'm a skinny white dude who raps and plays guitar. That's who I was when I was a kid. I know you can't please everyone when it comes to music, and you should just do what you enjoy even if other people don't understand it. My question is, when you were in McGregor was my old band, by the way, for y'all that didn't know. I used to be in a band where I played guitar and rapped and whatnot. Did you ever second guess your music style or the songs you were writing because of how you thought others would react? Were you ever embarrassed telling people you were a rapper because you thought they wouldn't take you seriously? My band's also playing at Rams Head Live next week, which has been a big goal for us for a while, but I'm still not great with interacting with the crowd. I was wondering if you had any tips or remember anything you used to do with your old band to interact with the crowd. My bad for sending such a long email, but thanks for reading, man. Well, let's, if you listen to, my old band, during that period of my life, I definitely didn't care what other people thought of the music. I mean, I showed it to people, and some people liked it and some people didn't, but we were very like, this is what we do. This is what we like, and fuck everybody else. And we were pretty confident with it. And I think it helped that we were good friends. And I mean, the band was kind of led by me and my brother and our boy Frazier, who we knew from way back in the day. But me and my twin brother growing up making music together and kind of running at least the writing aspect of this with Frazier. We kind of were such a strong team, like as far as we liked the shit so much that I don't think we really gave a shit what other people thought, and I don't think that we really it's not like we tried to make our music popularly acceptable, you know. We just did what we did. So I guess the honest answer to that would be no. We didn't second guess our music. We just made what we liked and had fun with it. I was as far as embarrassed to tell people I'm a rapper. No, I never felt embarrassed about that because I don't know. I looked up to rappers, so to me being a rapper was cool. If they wouldn't take me seriously, fuck them. You know, you just gotta. If you're gonna put yourself up on a stage, you kind of have to have a little bit of like an ego about yourself. You can still be a humble dude, but when it comes to your craft and when it comes to making your stuff, you gotta kind of build your ego up a little bit to just be like, yo, this is me, this is what I do. Fuck what anybody else thinks, and I know that's a lot easier said than done. And I've definitely been nervous, and I've definitely been scared of what people will think when I'm playing. I mean, even now, like. The shit I play isn't for everybody that's walking by on the Warped Tour. Like, a lot of people are like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, they came here to see metal. So you just gotta accept that. And I think that kind of just comes with experience. The more shows you do, the more you'll just be willing to accept the fact that some people, you can't please everybody. Not everybody is going to like you. So the most important person to please is yourself. And you know, if you're really pleasing the fuck out of yourself, there'll probably be other people that are pleased too. Tips for interacting with the crowd. That's a tough one. That's yet another skill that is developed over years of performing. Like, you know, I've gained that skill because I've done so many shows. I had that old band. Then when I moved to LA, I did all these acoustic shows. I did some rap shows, did tours with the band and without the band, with my brother, with me and EOM, and I've done all these tours. So after a while, you just kind of get used to being up there, and you kind of just become more comfortable. You can see it. You can see people who have been performing in some way or another. You can see it when they perform. You can tell that they've honed it over years. Like Watsky, for example, like, you know, and with him it's even more so because when he was in high school, he was a spoken word poet, and he even beyond high school, he did all these. He's done a lot of like gigs where, you know, he'll get a gig at a college and they'll just put him in the dining hall, and he's just there by himself with a microphone in front of a bunch of people eating. And they're just like, what the fuck? What is this guy? There's a poet today? You know? And he's just up there by himself. You know, at least for you got your band to take the fall with you. But, you know, it's all those years that he put in, all these awkward shows where he had no choice but to interact with the crowd and try to make something work. It's all that's made him the fucking performer he is now. And if you see this fool Watsky perform, I'm telling you, he's fucking incredible with interacting with the crowd. He's one of the best performers I know. Absolutely. I mean, he's one of the best performers I've seen, period, even people I don't know. So, yeah, you can just see it. My boy Dumb is the same way. He's really good at interacting with the crowd. And, you know, he's been doing rap shows forever, like the kind of rap shows in the underground hip-hop scene where if you suck, you get booed off the stage. And then you get booed off the stage a few times, and just like Dave Chappelle on if you haven't seen Dave Chappelle on Inside the Actor Studio, you should watch the whole thing. It's amazing. But he talks about when he got really confident. He was doing local shows in DC when he was like 15, and he was getting laughs and he was getting applause. So then he took his shit up to the Apollo, and in front of his whole family and in front of thousands of people, it was the first time that he's really gotten a negative reaction. He got booed off the stage, and what he took from that was, you know, the worst thing that could have happened at that show, pretty much. I mean, you know, besides somebody dying or whatever, like the worst thing that happened. And it wasn't that bad, you know? I've been kicked off the stage. I've had my mic cut off. I've played to rooms where nobody was there and nobody gave a shit and people yelled at me and told me to shut the fuck up. Like, you just build a thicker skin and you become better for it, you know? So I would say to you, Tyler P., your show at Ram's Head, that's a really big venue. Ram's Head Live in Baltimore, it's a solid 1,500 or 2,000 or something that can fit in there. So I don't know how many people are going to have in there, but I would say don't sweat it too bad, you know? I find that the more you worry about a gig, the more chance you have of A, fucking the gig up, or B, thinking you fucked the gig up. If you just kind of let it happen, you'll be better off. You know what I mean? So good luck to you, man. That's a really good venue, and I hope that shit goes well, bro. Alright, I got one more letter here, and this is from DUC. He says, "Yo, Wax, this is," and it's DUC, and then parentheses, pronounced like look with a D. So this fool's name is Duck. What up? Yo, Wax, this is Duck from Melbourne, Australia. Well, thanks for listening over there, man. Love listening to the podcast. Super entertaining. Appreciate that. I've been feeling pretty down lately. I'm studying to be a graphic designer. I'm a drawer, but lately I haven't been creating too much. Feels like I've lost the motivation. I'm pretty damn good at it, but it feels like I'm forcing myself to do it a lot of the times. My question for you is, have you ever thought of quitting, and how did you deal with it? Cheers, Wax. I'm looking forward to seeing you live down here someday. Well, I hope that I can make it to Australia, man. I really would love to do a show down there. I think Watsky's going down there, and I'm a little bit jealous. One day, hopefully it'll happen. I gotta finish an album, and then next year I'll probably be doing a lot of touring, and you know, hopefully I'll come back to Europe. Hopefully Australia. I wish I had more fans in other places. Like I have fans in America, Canada. I have fans all over Europe. I have a lot of fans in Australia and New Zealand, but you know. Unlike some bands who blow the fuck up in Japan, I don't sell nothing over in Japan, which is the country I want to go to the most. So one day I'm gonna hopefully go and do like a 2-week stint of shows in Australia, and then from there just fly to Japan for a week and just like eat sushi and look at technology as a vacation. So I actually have some friends over there now. The band One OK Rock became, me and George and the whole crew became kind of tight with them. So maybe I can meet up with those fools. We'll see. But on to your question. It's easy. It's easy to lose inspiration. It's easy to some people even just maybe some people, they kind of just lose interest in things over time. I know a lot of people that were musicians when I was in high school and in college, and that now they don't really pick up their instrument that they played. Whether they might just be they have too much other shit going on in their life, or for whatever reason they don't create as much as they used to. And of course, I've definitely felt like that. I've never thought about quitting. As far as the music thing, it just I can't really quit. I guess I could try to quit, but I don't really want to, because like songs and shit just like come to me all the time. Like I'll just walking down the street and I just think of shit, and I feel like I don't really have much of a choice with it. So I haven't thought about quitting, but I've definitely thought about quitting as far as the whole business of it. As I've talked about on this podcast before, like when I had a record deal and shit, there was definitely some really depressing times, and times where I just I wasn't doing it for the right reasons, like it's almost like, it just became a job, and I wasn't making the song. Like, there's certain times where if you're not making the art you want to make, you'll just feel bad. And that's just like a natural part of being an artist. When I went through that whole major label process, it made me really actually realize that I am an artist. Because I always thought it was, I don't know, I always thought there was something weird about just that word and calling myself an artist, but I am, and that's just how it is. And if you're an artist and you start to make art that you don't think is really representative of what you're put here to make, you just feel bad and negative inside, and you might not even realize that that's why, but eventually you do. So in those times, I definitely thought about quitting for like the business aspect of music, and I could just make songs in my basement and work construction or something like that. But I've never thought about actually quitting doing it. But I've found with creativity, as far as like wanting to do it and being inspired and having things come to you, for me at least, it comes in waves. Like I just have waves. Sometimes it'll be like a week, sometimes it'll be a couple of minutes. But you just have these waves where just things come to you, and then you might just have a long period of time where nothing comes to you. Or you don't feel like doing anything, or you feel like doing something else, and I think that's natural. You can force yourself to create things, but usually those aren't the greatest things. But some ideas do need to get kind of pried out of yourself, especially when it comes to like intricate stuff. But for me personally, and I know it's different for everybody, but for me personally, there's like, it's as if there's like there's like my brain, and then there's like God or whatever, wherever you get your ideas from. Maybe it's your brain, and maybe it's just another part of your brain. But wherever ideas come from, like let's say it was like a God-like force that like had like picture like a spotlight, like a long spotlight, like shining down, like the opposite of the way the Batman symbol appears. Like instead of like the spotlight going up and making a circle in the sky, it comes down down to my head and puts an idea in my head. Like I feel like that light will get turned on and send me ideas for a little while, and then it gets turned off, and I just can't think of shit. And then sometimes it's just on, and sometimes it's off. I think for some people it's on more often. Like I know people like Breezy, my friend Breezy Anderson Paak. I think for him that shit is like always on. Like the dude is constantly creating new shit all the time, and just like he's just a constant wave of creativity. But for some of us, for me it comes in like little waves. So I don't know, maybe just if you're not feeling like doing it, just pick up a pencil and draw some. I don't know anything about fucking drawing, dog, but just pick up a pencil and doodle some shit out. Maybe that'll help, or maybe you just need to take some time off from it, and then you'll come back to it and love it again. Or maybe, from this is another thing. And my brother is a really good example of this. Like, my brother started as a drummer, and then he played bass, then he played like classical guitar, and he had a stint where he mastered the harmonica, Then he was a DJ. Like, he bought turntables and he was scratching and shit. He also raps and sings. He made children's music. He does. My point is this: like, maybe like you're overdrawing and now you want to do painting, and then now you should try doing some sculpting, or maybe you should get a camera and do some photography. Like, some people don't just like stick with one thing. You know, there's some people that like pick up a guitar and they just become a shredder and they just master the fucking shit out of a guitar. Now, for me, you know, and my brother especially, but for me, like, like, once I get to a certain point with something, I just be like, all right, I'm pretty good at that. Let's try something else, you know? Maybe you're bored with the stuff you're doing. Maybe you don't feel like doing the same thing over and over again, because that's kind of like the opposite of being creative. So maybe you should just try some new shit. Get some fucking crayons. I don't know, dude. Go draw on some other kind of medium. You know, if you've been using paper, use fucking cardboard. Canvas. I don't really know much about that kind of art, man. But that's what I got to say about that. Yeah, so that was Duke. I appreciate that. Let's see. Not Duke, Duke. His name was Duke. That's a cool name. So I'm at like 56 minutes of this podcast. Maybe I can squeeze out a couple more things. What happened just now? Nothing that interesting. You know what? I don't think that I need to squeeze out 4 minutes. I think a 56-minute long podcast is plenty enough. You know what I mean? That's still a pretty good amount of talking. I mean, I talked about the dick and pussy stock on the Warped Tour. I talked a little bit about the Warped Tour in general. I talked about masturbation. I had Max read Attila lyrics. And then I did all these comments and questions. Got in some pretty interesting territory there, too. So I hope you, whether you're in your cubicle, whether you're in your car, wherever you listen to this podcast, I listen to podcasts while I jog. I've been a jogger. Even on this tour this morning, I went for a jog, and you know, I gotta plug it, man. My man Frank, hit him up on Twitter. On Twitter, he is Frank S Pink Led. So it's FrankSPinkled. Was that right? It looks like Frank Sprinkled, but it's actually Frank's Pink Led, because he said when he made that up, he likes Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin. So hit him up on Twitter, because he puts on he does the Say Word Up podcast. And let me tell you something. I really enjoy his podcasts. He talks a little bit of shit. Some of his episodes are funnier than others, you know, but he's my boy too, so I know him personally, so I like listening to him talk. But he just talks a little bit of shit for a couple minutes and then plays some awesome music. And his taste in music is really eclectic and really good. And I discover new music on there every time I listen to his podcast. And he's got really good taste in music, man. He's a fucking good dude too. So go to iTunes and subscribe to his podcast. Go to iTunes and subscribe to my podcast. Give it 5 stars. Give it a rating or whatever, or a review. Speaking of that, one thing that I'm supposed to do on every podcast that I never do is let you know that if you go to wax.com, waxdotcom, and go to the podcast page, there's a link there for Amazon.com. And if you click that link and buy stuff from Amazon.com, I get some small percentage of what you buy. Right now, that money is, we use some of it to mix Herbal Tea's album. That was the Herbal Tea Mixing Fund. But right now, there's just it's not very much money at all, but it's sitting there, and we're gonna somehow use it to support the podcast. It doesn't cost me money to do the podcast, but God, it definitely takes me a long time to go through the emails, and you know, and it's an hour just to sit here and talk. And then some days, you guys probably think that I just fucking knock these things out, but it's not that easy. Sometimes I'll go for a few minutes, and then I'll just realize I'm not saying anything of importance or value, or just not being smooth or funny. And I'll start over again, and I'll have to start over again, and I'll start over again. Like, it doesn't always work out, so it's just like an easily done podcast. That being said, it's not like I fucking toil over this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So go to there and click on Amazon, buy something for your family, and I'll get a little piece of it. And I guess that hopefully that'll give me some type of even further incentive to put out the podcast every week. I'm trying to keep the shit going, y'all. So every little bit helps. Be safe out there.